Hi guys, welcome to another interview of Gol Bezan. Today myself and Armin Shidanshiri will be interviewing Eamon Zayed. This man is obviously a hero for many Perspolis fans, a miracle worker, especially scoring that hat-trick against Esteghlal in the last 10 minutes of the Tehran derby while being 10 man down. We'll be interviewing him to talk about his career in Iran, what he thought about Iran as a whole, and what is he pursuing now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hi guys, right now we're joined by Eamon Zayed. Basically, if you're a Perspolis fan, and notable Esteghlal fans also love him. They know why, but it's a pleasure to have you on Gol Bezan, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Definitely. My first question for you, Eamon, is that, obviously the question that usually we ask foreign players is like, why did you choose to play for Iran, especially the Persian Gulf League? And particularly when you were playing for Iran, why did you choose Perspolis?
Well, why did I choose Perspolis? Firstly, is that's easy. I mean, Perspolis is the biggest team in Iran. It's one of the biggest teams in Asia. So, if I was going to go and play for any team in Iran, it was a no-brainer that if I could play for Perspolis, well then, I would jump at the chance. So that's why I chose and decided to play for Perspolis. Iran was, receiving the offer back in 2011. It was actually just before Christmas time, 2011. That was crazy. I mean, I never expected to play in Iran, but basically there was an agent in Iran who got in contact with my agent and asked if there was a possibility that I would like to go and play for Perspolis for 6 months, just for the half season. And at the start, I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous because, if you watch the news or read any of the newspapers over here in Ireland or England, there's never too much kind of positivity coming from the news about Iran.
Yeah.
So naturally I was a little bit, apprehensive about whether to go or not. But the first thing I did was I got in contact with, there was an Irish embassy that was based in Iran back in 2011. Now they closed now, but at the time there was an Irish embassy there in Iran, in Tehran, and I got in contact with them. And they said, "Listen, Eamon, get over here. Iran it's a lovely place. You're going to have absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's safe. The people are nice." And after talking to them, I said, "You know what? Why not? I'll go out and I'll see, and I'll try it." So that's why that's how I got over to Iran. But when the offer was made to me, that it was going to be not only an opportunity to go and play in Iran, but it was actually Perspolis. Now, I had heard of Perspolis. I had heard of the players like Ali Karimi and Ali Karimi, Madavikia. And they had some big names playing there. And obviously, I'm a football fan. I love football, so I had heard of these players. So
that's impressive,
obviously
man.
you go into.
That's impressive.
Sorry?
You're not closed-minded. Yeah.
No, not at all. I'm very open-minded.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I guess is definitely something that I have. It's positive, and it's been good to me in my football career, because I know many footballers who would have said no. So, but to me it was, what a challenge. This is fantastic, and I went on, as everyone does. I went on Google. I had a look at Perspolis. I saw that Ali Karimi was still playing with Perspolis at the time, and Madavikia. So it was a no-brainer, and I was delighted to get the opportunity and go over and play for such a big team, because it actually, obviously you can read on the internet, and sometimes the internet exaggerates, about teams and fans and stuff like that. But you know, when you actually get to go over and you see it and you experience it, and then you play in front of those fans, you know, you get to walk the streets of Tehran and other cities. Actually, every city we travel to, you know, and you get off the airplane, you arrive at the airport, and you see these crowds of Perspolis fans greeting you. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was something that I really really enjoyed. I absolutely loved it. And you know, looking back on that part of my career, it's something that I'll always remember, and I have great memories. You know, and yeah, so that's a long answer, but that's how I got to Iran, and that's how I got to play for Perspolis, and that's how I chose Perspolis.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass the second question to our panelist Armin. He's gonna give you the second question. Go ahead, Armin.
Yeah, cool. Exactly. Talking about Iran, how was your timing there, and did you like the country, and what do you think about the Iranian people?
Firstly, did I like the country? Yes, I did. I mean, I definitely had doubts about what it was going to be like before I went over, but I mean, my doubts were very quickly washed away as soon as I arrived. You know, from the people that I first met within the club, they were all very nice to me. I mean, I do have to put on record at the time. Mr. Rianian was the president of Perspolis, and I mean, I know he's not there now, but he was, you know, and maybe, I don't know, some Perspolis fans mightn't have taken to him during his time at Perspolis, but you know, my dealings with him were great. He was the one that actually, you know, it was him that brought me there. He was the one that signed the contract and that wanted me there. And I'll have a story for you about how I actually got to play my first game for Perspolis, but it was because of Mr. Rianian. So to be honest, anyone that I met, the people I met were very friendly. You know, and that only grew. I mean, obviously after playing the games and then them seeing my face in the Perspolis jersey, it only got better. And people only got more friendlier. But but that's natural. But even before that, you know, my very first month when nobody knew me, you know, whether it was going to a restaurant or you know, or anything, people were very friendly to me and very, very nice to me. And it was, you know, it's great when you read stuff about a country and sometimes not so positive stuff about a country, but then, you know, you get to go over and you actually, you know, you get to experience it and say, you know what, no, this is actually you know what, it's not a bad place, it's a nice place, the people are friendly, they're not all crazy, you know, it's not all nuclear bombs and all this kind of stuff. It's, you know, they're actually, you know, they're sound, they're nice, they like to have fun. You know, so no, it was pleasant. I enjoyed my time, and the people there definitely were nice, and I enjoyed Iran, to be honest, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you this next question that you will love this question, and it's something that I think might be basically one of your future, like, highlight of your career so far, and that's what I'm thinking. As you know, the Tehran derby is obviously one of the biggest derbies in the world stage and one of the biggest in Asia. So when you scored that hat-trick in the derby against Esteghlal, and basically in the last 10 minutes when they were winning 2-0, how was life after that? I mean, what was your reaction? I mean, I think for Perspolis fans, that still is installed. Anytime they hear your name or whenever I hear your name, it's hat-trick hero. So how was that life after the goal and, you know, and the streets, going to the streets? Macy, I hope none of the Esteghlal fans taunt you, but, you know, you became a big player in Iran just because of that hat-trick in a big derby.
Yeah, you know what, it was great. After it was obviously it was I'll give you an example. The very first thing I done after the match was I went back to my hotel. I was staying in a Homa hotel. I can't remember whereabouts that is. But anyway, I went back to my hotel, and you know, I'd been staying in this hotel for a month, and you know, no one had bothered me or anything. But when after that game, I went back to the hotel, and there was a wedding going on, and it started off with a couple of people from the wedding that saw that I was sitting down having a cup of tea with my agent, you know, and a few people saw that I was there, and next thing you know, the whole wedding party were out, you know, surrounding me. You know, people this is grown men giving me hugs and kisses and you know, thanking me, and some of the wedding party even wanted to hand me a bit of money to just to say thank you. It was crazy. And as I said, I'd been in this hotel for a month, and not one person had said anything. But after that, I mean, it was crazy. Anywhere I went, whether it was you know going out to the shops or going for a walk, or anything, people would come up and it was great. They'd tell me the story. They'd tell me where they were when the match was going on, what happened when I scored the first goal, the second goal, and then the third goal. You know, so no, it was you know, it was, look, you became an overnight celebrity, I guess. Yeah. And that was great but I mean, I enjoyed that, and that was great. But it was the most important part of it was I had been in Iran for a month, or longer than a month, maybe 5 to 6 weeks, and before that match, you know, there was talk of me, there was talk of people, even the players, some of my own, you know, I'd been training with the Perspolis players for a month or so, or 5 weeks, and there was talk of, you know, this guy's no good. Oh, why did they sign him? Oh, we don't need him. Oh, he can't score any goals. Mm-hmm. You know, I know that at the time, and it was fair enough, but at the time, the manager, Mustafa Denizli, who I went on to have a great relationship with, but at the very start, he didn't speak to me. He didn't even want to play me. He didn't want to give me a chance. No. It was Ryanian, Mr. Ryanian, the president, who said, look, you know what, I brought him over, you have to give him a chance. Mm-hmm. At least you could play him and see if he's any good, instead of just training. So to get the opportunity to kind of to show my own teammates, my own players within Perspolis, and the manager, you know, that I can play and I can score, that was the most important thing, and that was the most pleasing aspect of scoring a hat-trick. Because after that, I mean, you asked me, the question was, how did things change between me and the fans? Obviously they changed a lot, and it was great. I was a celebrity, but how did they change between me and the players? That was the most important thing, and that was major. And after that game, I gained the respect of all the players. I remember there was an interview with Ali Karimi, and he even apologised. He said, look, before the game, you know, I kind of said that maybe Eamon wasn't a good player, and I don't know who he is, but I was wrong. You know, this guy can play, and he's a good player. So it was great to be able to go out and prove to players and earn their respect, which is very important.
Exactly. Did the team ever want you to come back?
After I left Perspolis, did I ever want to come back?
Yeah, did the team ever want you back?
Yeah.
After I left Perspolis, did I want to come back at some stage? I left Perspolis the end of 2012. Mm-hmm. There was a few problems with the coach at the time, and there was also a few problems financially. So I left the end of 2012. Did I want to come back? Yes, I did want to come back, but I never got the opportunity to come back. I mean, they changed managers. Perspolis changed managers a few times, you know, since 2013 and 2014. But they also, I think, they changed. Obviously, the president of the club changed as well, but they never asked me back, so I never got the opportunity to come back. Would I like to come back? Did I want to come back? Yeah, I did, because I had great times there, and I feel that I understood, which is very important. I understood what Perspolis, the club, the culture, what it was about to play for a team like that, the pressure that goes with it, and I enjoyed that, and I felt that, you know what, I can come back, and I know I can score goals for this team. I know I can handle the pressure, and I felt that the fans would perhaps like to see me back as well. But I never got the opportunity to come back. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Eamon, the next question I have for you is that obviously, do you still follow up with what's happening inside the Persian Gulf League, especially with Perspolis, and do you still are you still in contact with any of the Iranian players?
I follow up with the Persian League. I've never stopped. Yeah, ever since I played in Iran, and then when I left, I followed up with the results. Every week I check the results. I check how Perspolis do. There's a great website that actually show the highlights of all the games and the goals. So I like every now and again. I like to watch some of the goals and some of the highlights. You know, I see how Perspolis play and how they perform and how they finish up as well. So I do keep in touch with the Persian League. Do I keep in contact with some of the players? A couple of them, yeah. I would still be in touch with Javad Kazemian.
Javad Kazemian.
Yeah. I also would be in touch with Vahid. He's I think he's gone in Germany now.
Hashemian.
Coaching in Germany now.
Hashemian. Oh wow, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. The two of them spoke quite good English, and they were very friendly with me. So I kept in contact with them. I'm friends on Facebook with a few other players, but they don't really speak so good English. You know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very close to there's the physio of Perspolis at the time. His name was Shahed Oriani. I'm very close with him. So he'd be one of my closest friends actually in Iran. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, for the next question, as you might have recently heard, Adino Ruzi, Perspolis' captain, has passed away due to a heart attack. And what do you think about him, and how did you find out that he passed away?
Yeah. Basically, what Armin said does that. Obviously, you heard about Hadi Nourouzi, unfortunately, and his passing away as due to a result of a heart attack. You know, obviously, I know you played alongside with him, but how did you find about that, and how was your experience with him on the pitch and off?
Exactly.
You know what? I mean, it was. It can't really hurt how sad it was what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, Hadi Nourouzi was a terribly nice guy, and he was a gentleman. And every time he was always good to me. Whenever I my experience in Perspolis, he was always very good to me. Even though we were competing for the same position, he was he was very nice to me. And I remember I think it was for the Persian New Year. I got to meet. We were doing a photo shoot, and I got to meet him. I got to meet his family. So, and I saw how he was with his family, even though it was only a short time. It was only an hour photo shoot, but I saw how he was with his wife and his kids. So, I mean, first and foremost, I send my condolences to them. It's very sad what happened, and it kind of, when I first heard about it, it was, again, I mean, how can you describe in words? He's a player who I played with, and he was very nice to me. So it's shocking. It really is, and it shows you, how cruel life can be, how short life can be. It really hits home because it can happen to him. It can happen to anybody. You know.
Yeah.
It was just terribly unlucky and sad. What happened, and that's something that I'll never forget. I'll always remember. I'll remember him, with good memories. But I'll always, every time I step foot into a football match, I'll remember what can happen. And I'll never take anything for granted ever again.
Yeah. All right, I have my last final question for you. Obviously, thank you so much for this interview. So, as we know, you recently posted a picture on Twitter saying that you might come back to Iran. And this obviously made us as fans, interested that you might actually that you got offered from back again from one of the clubs in the Persian Gulf League.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's due to you. You could say it or not, but would you take that offer?
There was an offer made from a team over there. Unfortunately, it wasn't Perspolis. If it was Perspolis, I would have signed already.
Was it Esteghlal?
But it was no, it definitely wasn't Esteghlal. Unfortunately, fortunately, me and Muslim, we don't have a great relationship, so that will never happen. But no, it was there was a team. It was they're mid-table at the moment. I won't say what team it is because I don't think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
they're mid-table at the moment in the Persian League. They're looking for a striker. They got in contact a few weeks ago. I spoke to them. I'm still in contact with them, but I posted that a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. And about a week after that, or a few days after that, I've been made a track in America, I believe. So I'm thinking between the two at the moment. Which will work out best for me. Yeah. So I might go back to Iran, but there was a strong offer in America, and that's somewhere that I would like to play. So I'll see. I'll make my decision over Christmas, and I'll let you guys know. Then, as I said, all I can say is that I do want to go back to Iran because I had good times there, and I really enjoy my football there. And the people in Iran are so passionate about football, and they love their football. And it's I really enjoy playing football there, but I was hoping like that maybe, I would get the opportunity to play for Perspolis, and I was hoping I'd get the opportunity to play for Perspolis again because, as I said, I keep in contact with their results and how they play, and I know, they do need a striker. I know they have someone up front now, an Iranian international. I can't remember his name. Karimi, is it?
Yeah, Karimi.
Taremi, Mehdi Taremi.
Yeah. I don't know him, but I've been watching the highlights, and I've been seeing that he's actually he maybe last year he didn't do so well in terms of goals, but this year he's scored a few more goals. But I still feel that I could score goals and I could play and be successful again for Perspolis, and that's what I would like to do. It's it's a dream to be able to play in the Azadi Stadium again, in front of put on the Perspolis jerseys, play in front of those fans, and if I felt I was too old or not good enough, I wouldn't say that because I don't want to go and embarrass myself. Because they have good memories of me. I don't want to go and play and to play bad and for them to have bad memories. But I do feel I have a lot to offer and I can score goals. And the only team I would 100%, 1,000,000% jump at the chance to play for again is Perspolis. That's why when the other team in Iran made me the offer, I said I'll think about it because it's not Perspolis,
Yeah. Eamon, this was gonna be honestly my last question to you, but it's something else came to my mind, and I thank you for your time. This will be my last question because I'm taking a lot of your time. Is that once you were playing for Perspolis and stuff, who would you say was the best player that you played alongside with, and also who was the best opponent that you played against with? I know it's a little, it might be a little bit tough to say it right at the hand, but who would you say it was?
The best player. Well, that's. You know what? That's actually an easy answer. I played with some good players, some very good players. Iran internationals who've gone on to play very good. I'll give you an example. Murdat Duladi was one of the better players I played with.
Yeah.
But the best player I played alongside was Ali Karimi.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a special player, and he still is. I mean, to this day, like I played with some excellent players, you know, but he's the best. I mean, the things he could do with a football, it's just his vision. As a striker, you appreciate someone who can play behind you and who can create chances, who can see a pass. I mean, you know, can see a pass before you even make the move, and that was him. I mean, you know, I was lucky and fortunate enough to play with him, and I you know, he assisted me on many goals when I was playing for Perspolis. So no, that's an easy. He was a genius, honestly. I mean, I know the Iranian people they appreciate him anyway, but you know, when you get to play with him, it was incredible. The best player I played against. That's a tough question.
That's a little off guard question. You got to think about it, but
that's a tough question. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I mean, I know the strongest team when I was playing for Perspolis, the strongest team we played against was Sepahan. We always found them quite difficult, especially when we went to Esteghlal and played out there.
Right.
You know, and they had some good players. I'm going to be honest. I don't know their names offhand, but I know they were a strong team. They had strong defenders. You know, and then they had some other players who could play and score. So I know that's not the question you asked, but definitely Sepahan was the strongest team. Anyway, in Esteghlal it was a tough game.
Eamon, my friend, I appreciate you giving us your time to come on Gol Bezan. And hopefully we'll have you on in the future to talk about the Persian Gulf League once we do a pod over it. But once again, my friend, thank you so much, and I do hope to see you in Iran, even if it's not Perspolis. But you're still the man. You're still the Perspolis hero.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And no, it's a pleasure. It's my pleasure being able to talk to you guys. And hopefully we'll speak soon.
For sure. Thank you.